Morning everyone, big GT fan here. Today we're going to be looking at the XB GT Hardtop, well, nicknamed Squash Frog, Two-Door, and a whole heap of other names that it come out with. Now, the Hardtop with the Falcon come out in 1964 with the XM model, and then you had the XP, and then for a few years the hardtop went away, but there was an XT show car from Melbourne in 1969 that was an ideas car for Al Turner. He decided that he was going to try and put the hardtop into the public in the XT model, XT GT model, but it didn't come to plan. So they, when the XY program was all done and finished, then they needed to go to the drawing board about the GTs, and then the GTHO come along, GTHO Phase 4. Well, with the supercar scare with that, then they axed that. So then they went to the drawing board, and with the XA model, they put across the two-door version the hardtop. So with all the Phase 4 parts that were left over for the XA GHO Phase 4 sedan, because there was 200 sets of these parts, well, they put them into other sedans and other hardtops that had an RPO numbering, the RPO 83 numbering, and then to get rid of all the bodies and try and get a car homologated for Bathurst, that the next year. So in 72, Ford actually rolled with the XY Phase 3 for 72, and then 73, Alan Moffat, John Goss, Pete Gagan, and a few others got the XA hardtop RPO 83 with all the Phase 4 running gear. So then in 1973, late 1973, the XB came out. That's this car here. The engine was more bridled, so there was no performance. There were all the high performance stuff was all gone. So the pollution laws came in, which stuffed it. In my opinion, the 300 horsepower was measured, and that basically was the death of the GT. So these cars here, they were just to use up all the shells, and then to get as much, because this car in existence was the longest production GT on the assembly line, ran from 1973 to 1976, and in 1976, that's when Ford got out of its race program. They ditched the race program, so they lost that. So then it was up to the Ford. John Goss, John Goss, he stayed with Falcon with the XC model, so he started his own privateer because he was working for Max McLeod. They were privateers. Then Alan Moffat, he went as a privateer, and and then in 1976, because Alan Moffat, when he was racing, he had a lot of problems with the XB. Couldn't get the potential out of it like he did the XA, even though it had the Phase 4 running gear. Just had notorious for a lot of problems. But as you can see inside here, this car here, it's got the B2 trim, which is cloth over vinyl. Had the sports dash, had all the remote mirrors, twin mirrors. This one, so with the remote mirror there, electric wind. This car had electric windows as well. Electric back window. Standard 16.5 gallon tank. So these XBs never got the 36 gallon tank like the HOs did. Now with the XB too, the XA was actually the last of the dipper switch on the floor. It actually had an indicator switch. that doubled as your horn and as your light dimmer and high beams. So that was another revise of the XB, and another key feature. No vacuum tank, no 780 Holy carburetor. As you can see, this one's actually fitted with the air conditioning. This is 4V. It says 4V heads as it is a manual car. There's no vacuum tank for braking. These had a 650 Holy carburetor. They never had the big 780 Holy. Only Bathurst, the Bathurst builds got those engines, which were left over from the XA Falcon, the XA GTHO. Now with these scoops as well, these side scoops were actually a dummy scoop. They weren't a functioning scoop. But the looks of them looked alright. But I'm pretty sure with Bathurst though, they actually made them functional to cool the back brakes, the back fin drums. So yeah. But then, you know, what made the XB so famous as well was Mad Max. Now, the Mad Max car started off as a Polar White GT, exact same as this. That's before they put the Monza nose cone on the front of it. They put the supercharger on it and everything. Now, with the supercharger too, what they did is here, when they've done the Mad Max car, how that supercharger worked was hollowed out. It wasn't actually fully gone. So if from memory you guys would know that it used to turn on and off with a switch in the car. Yeah, well, that's because the blower and the supercharger was actually connected. It was hollowed out, and it was actually connected to the air conditioning pump. So when you turn the air conditioning pump on, the charger would spin, turn it off, and wouldn't think. But that's with that car, everyone calls it the Mad Max Interceptor. Well, there's a big theory bust on that, where that was not the Interceptor. The Interceptor was actually the yellow sedans at the start. So Max's yellow sedan and was the Interceptor, and the other two had Pursuit written across the back of them. That's Roop and Charlie's XB sedan, and the XA from March Hare, from the other two that rolled over in the start of the thing. But yeah, Max's XB, yellow XB, was the Interceptor. These were actually classed as Pursuit Special. So I don't know where the Interceptor came into. I think it was because of that mechanic in Mad Max 2 that says, last of the V8 Interceptors, you know. Piece of history. But it was not an Interceptor. It was actually classed as a Pursuit Special, like same with the HQ that the Night Ride had at the start of Mad Max. And that's what made this car so famous. And then in 1976, the XC came along. So all they did, because they had a lot of leftover shells from the XB program, all they did is revise the taillights, put the XC dash and upgrades in, the XC front on them, but they weren't selling well until they get the Cobra. They done that special Cobra. They had 400 bodies left, so they needed to get rid of them. So they put the Cobra striping in it and made them a limited edition. Bib steel wheel. Ford did some as well. The 4-door Cobras. But that was just to get rid of the what was left of the shells. And then because of the hype, they all sold out, and people still wanted Cobras that were from the old XB shells. What they did is they actually made 15 Cobra sedans, bib steel wheel Cobra sedans, dealer fitted with all the Cobra options. So yeah, this car, um, you know, had the racing program kept going, we would have saw an XB GTHO Phase 5. No doubt, and it would have been this car. That they were trying to um, steer away with the XA. It was going to be the Phase 4. They were actually trying to make the Phase 4 into a two-door as well. So yeah, but I hope you like this thing. I'll do more on the um, Mad Max car, but probably Mad Max in that's another story of its own. But yeah, the car in that, everyone remembers this car for that movie. Where in essence, my opinion with that car was they should have kept the XB front, because that Monza front, I never really liked it. That's my opinion. With the XC headlights and stuff, never really liked that front on that car. I reckon they should have just kept the XB front. But this car is the most celebrated Falcon of all, other than the Phase 3. So I hope you liked the review that I've done today, and I shall be back with more reviews soon. Probably get back into the Holdens soon enough as well, and probably start doing a bit of movie. Probably change it up a bit. Start talking about some of the Australian movies in the movie cars, like and this car as well become famous as well for Eric Banner, if the comedian, because he had that show Love the Beast, and yeah, he wanted to do like a sort of like a doco movie on his car, his XB that he smashed doing Targa Rally, and then now that car's been fully restored. Now he doesn't race it anymore, but he owned that car since he was 16, 15 or 16. So, but anyway, that's my review on the XB GT hardtop. I hope you liked it, and I shall come back with another one soon. Big GT fan out.